Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Driver podcast. My name is James Rea. I'm an automotive writer for Bay Area News Group, and I publish and edit the website, TheWeeklyDriver.com. My co-host is Bruce Aldrich, and today we have on Alan Witters, who is the CEO of T4L and Transportation for Life, and T4L is among the new companies that are doing car subscriptions, and we want to gain a lot of knowledge today about that world. So, Alan, welcome to our podcast.
Oh, thank you very much for having me today.
Sure. Can you give us an overview, Alan, of this new world of car subscriptions and why it's a good thing now and what you guys are all about in a good general overview?
The big thing that we looked at when we created T4L, and we started working on this in June of this year.
Yes.
And I have a background in taking large equipment purchases and turning them into utility models where the large CapEx acquisitions get paid for on a unitized basis, whether it be by the megabyte, by the minute, or by the mile now.
Yes.
And so we've taken that, and we also, Elon Musk on the Tesla said he wanted to reduce the price of the cars. There's also a couple of very large behavioral changes that have happened in the last decade. We have companies like Uber and Lyft that have basically created car usership, and there's a big shift from car ownership to car usership. There is what I would call the Amazon client first economy, which means it's all about service and the client being first. And then we have also digitized basically every person in the United States so far, has some sort of digitization going on in their life. We pulled together all those pieces of that puzzle and looked at transportation as a service as a serious problem. And with the advent of the electric vehicles, we're able to put a business model together that allows a multi-tiered, all-inclusive membership subscription service that is about 10% lower cost than what it costs to operate a car for yourself, much higher levels of service, and less brain damage trying to own a car.
Gotcha.
Alan, what type of benefits do you receive over ownership? Just you mentioned, in generalized terms, but do you get to swap cars? How often? And how many cars do you have at your disposal?
I'm going to start at the sort of the client expectation experience benefits. You do not have to sit in the DMV.
That's a good thing. There you go. You got me.
You started at the top, man.
Okay.
That's a perfect one. Thank you. I'm in. We're in.
You don't have to deal with an insurance company or its agents.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
You do not have to go to a car dealer and then give them your email or your address or try to not do that.
That's impossible.
You don't have to worry about maintenance, tires, brakes, your tickets, your tolls, or your fuel. Now let's get to the vehicle.
What do you mean tickets? What do you mean like a parking ticket?
Absolutely. We take care of all that for you.
Holy smokes.
Is that a problem in Naples, Florida? Is that a big...
It can be a problem. It can be a problem depending on the driver.
Gotcha. I understand. Go ahead, Alan. I'm sorry. Go back. Continue what you were saying.
So now, if you want to get to the vehicle, we can, because our services are going to be actually offered to vehicle owners also to help make their lives better. You'll see us releasing our concierge services only in about 6 months to electric vehicle owners also that want to own a car, which is fine. We don't care. But we include everything, and it's you can pick the car you want. We're currently working with Tesla. They're the leader in the industry at this point, but we have relationships with Nissan, VW, a couple other makers. And, we're looking at putting probably 50,000 Teslas in our fleet over the next 3 to 5 years. It gives us a lot of benefits of scale. We have what we call is the perpetual subscription plan. You subscribe and it's similar to, your utility bill or gas or electric bill or your cell phone bill. It's just going to be there for the rest of your life. And you can make changes. You can come in and swap cars. You can upgrade or downgrade according to your lifestyle changes. But we look at a client being a perpetual client for us, and we're going to keep them because of our service.
Do they offer a timeout? Like if they're gone from Naples, they live in New York or something, and they're gone for 6 months out of the year?
Yeah, so this brings up some really interesting things that we're doing with the behavior and usage of vehicles. We have a flex plan that we're working on, and where we live in Naples, we have a lot of snowbirds, and they really don't want to be moving their cars back and forth all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
And they'd like to have a nice car for 3 months and then not have a nice car for the other, 9 months. So we have flex programs where you can buy by the mile and the time you need a car for, the subscription on the vehicle.
Bruce kind of asked my question, but I was going to refer into the Sacramento area where people come in and work, in the state government, in the capital for 3 months, 6 months, a year. And I was going to say that would be another market for someone who has a subscription idea in Sacramento region. But in Naples, you just covered the base. People who are snowbirds, and that makes perfect sense. They want a nice, let's face it, a nice luxury car for 3 months, 6 months, and it seems ideal for that clientele. Is it based, Alan, do you think it's based, this success or potential success of these companies, based on median incomes in areas of the country? I know Naples obviously is by and large an upscale area with a high median income. Is it corresponding to the income of people in certain areas?
Well, as you know, cars have become basically almost the same price as houses. They're basically a mortgage nowadays.
Yes, indeed.
And that's one of the things that we do is that we take a car, and because electrics have a much longer depreciable life, I mean, Teslas are going 400,000 to 500,000 miles now, and probably are going to hit 1 million miles in the next decade.
Yes.
Well, we look at that as a perpetual asset that you might take it for a year or 2 years or 3 years. You'll turn it back in when you want to swap up or down. We'll refresh that vehicle, put it back in the fleet at a discounted subscription price. And we'll do that 10 to 15 times, or we'll put it into our flex fleet, or we'll put it into our commercial or government fleets that we're working on right now. Or even the ride sharing. We have a special fleet we're working on for ride sharing groups. That starts being smart about the vehicle. And I think the latter generations, the last 2 generations of people in this country are concerned about responsible use of things like this. And so we plan out the whole life for 20 years of the vehicle, and at the end of it, we recycle it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Alan, I'm thinking your clients would be, I don't know the demographic, you certainly do, but 50 and above. But they're not the techie type people that would go for this, are they? Or who is your clientele?
So what's interesting is that we cover, you might think that all the retirees and everything are very rich and can afford anything. Well, we deal with a lot of retirees that are on fixed pensions, Social Security, and the cool thing is they don't drive very much. And so we have a plan that starts at 5,000, a subscription plan that starts at 5,000 miles a year. You can get into a nice Tesla 3 for $599 a month that includes everything.
Wow.
We're working on some lower end cars with some of the other vendors like Nissan and VW, and we believe we'd probably get down to a $400 subscription per month.
So you can base it on mileage, which that makes sense. Certainly, to get the price down.
That's interesting, because I know that whether people purchase a new vehicle or a used vehicle and they do it with a payment, obviously they're paying interest. And if you go to buy a car for cash, let's just say you take a Tesla and for round figures, you pay $100,000 for one. As soon as you get that Tesla off the showroom floor, you've lost money. And that's another reason why your idea makes perfect sense. Why, if you have the wherewithal to buy the car, that's one thing, but it's not a very good investment unless you're buying a vintage car, I'm thinking. So it makes even more sense.
Yeah, and so some of my background was, again, taking assets, primarily in the computer industry, very expensive computers, and turning them into utility devices. And it's really interesting because we did this in the 90s, 95, 96 through 2000. We put a lot of computers out at people's places. And because it's a service model and we over-provision like we're doing here with our cars, you actually extend the life of it. There are some of those computers that are still running today, 24 years later, and they've had software updates, but that's the way we sort of look at these electric vehicles. If you maintain them, they should go a long, long way.
Yes. Alan, I know in California we have the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we have AAA, and we have maybe one other company in our part of the world that are doing these variety of car subscriptions, not exactly what you're talking about, but similar. And in Florida, of course, you have at least two competitors that I'm aware of, and I'm sure that you know of more. It's your world. Is there enough business to go around to sustain a variety of these different companies?
Well, it's all going to get boiled down to good service.
Yes.
You're dealing with the same vehicles, so that's a moot point. It's all about service.
Yes.
And the vehicle is actually probably only around 30% of the 30 to 35, maybe 40% of the cost of value in all car ownership. Okay.
Yes.
And so it's all the other stuff that costs you the money, the time, the brain damage that we take care of. That is really where the high value is. And now, if they can keep up with us, great. If they do better than us, great. But this particular subscription marketplace is growing at like 69% compound annual growth.
Wow, I didn't know.
So it's a huge expanding market. There's also a big change going on. Because car ownership is changing to car usership, you don't have a need for car dealers, and you don't have a need for insurance brokers and insurance agents for the automotive aspect anymore. You're seeing a lot of things become more efficient. Middlemen are being carved out, and that means there's opportunity. Disintermediation equals opportunity in our world. And the 100-year-old automobile industry is now going through a huge giant shift of going to basically where you're dealing with software configured cars.
Yes.
And Tesla has completely led that. And we're taking advantage of those changes in behavior and economic models, all those kinds of things.
Where are you now with your company? I noticed being in communication with your marketing and public relations guy, who's very good at what he does, Louis or Louise, however you say his name.
Louis.
Louis, you guys did a was it on one of the major companies? I'm saying the wrong word here. The fundraising companies. What do you call that again?
Crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding. Thank you.
Yeah. Monday of this week, we actually got our SEC approvals.
Yes.
And yesterday we launched a small $1 million WeFunder round. If you go to wefunder.com/T4L,
Yes.
the letter T, number 4, the letter L, you'll be able to see our offering there. And that's got all of our business information there and the way we do things, stuff like that.
When will the first customer walk in the figurative door, or has that already happened?
We have, we've got several clients that have signed up. Where our first deliveries will probably be in January. Right now, with car deliveries coming out of Tesla at 6 to 12 weeks.
Gotcha. As everybody else in business has experienced, what has been your experience with our health issue in the world, the COVID crisis? How did that affect your moving forward with your new business?
I think it's actually accelerated it.
Yes.
Because people don't want to go out and expose themselves in the DMV and deal with taxes and registrations and all the things you have to deal with personally and get out there. And, this business makes much more sense than owning a car. I mean, I just turned in one of my leased vehicles and, it's like, I'm going this route. I mean, a lot of that was determined by just my own need for a vehicle.
Yes.
Alan, I'm interested. I used to work for the Department of Insurance here in California, so I'm kind of interested in the insurance aspect. One of them is the liability insurance. If one guy's say, I want to rent or buy a subscription, I'm 21 years old, I got 2 drunk drivings, and my buddy here he's 55 and he's never had a ticket. So there's quite a disparity there. And how many wrecks can I get in? Do you take care of my vehicle damage when I do something stupid and crash the car?
Yeah, so this is a really interesting thing because we're changing the dynamic of insurance quite a bit. You have to think that it isn't a driver to a vehicle per se. It's a pool of drivers and a pool of vehicles. And so from a fleet perspective, we have a analytical capability that owning one car you just don't have. We have the ability to average everything across the whole fleet from an actuarial perspective. So this gets also to be a little more interesting because with our insurance companies, we pay by the mile on usage. There is no fixed insurance fee and guess at how many miles you're going to drive or all that stuff. We take our customers, our subscribers, our members. They need to have a 700 plus credit if they're the financial responsible party. We typically subscribe to 25-year-old and older, but if there is a younger driver, there's a young driver surcharge that goes with that.
Okay.
Until they're 25. And every additional driver to the vehicle goes through a motor vehicle check, make sure they're good drivers. We will tell people no in some cases.
Understood.
Okay, so it's a pool. It's more like healthcare or something. Healthcare at work.
Well, our subscribers get the benefit of that, yes. Nice. Our members.
Alan, you mentioned the possibility, I'm assuming with a Nissan product or another non-Tesla product, of someone perhaps getting a vehicle for between $400 and $500 a month. Do you have the prices set already on the variety of vehicles, whether it's Tesla or BMW, another electric vehicle? Do you have them all set, or is it still in development?
For all the Teslas, we have 760 models that we have subscriptions. These are all the different color combinations, model type configurations, rim configurations, color configurations. We're in the middle of doing that also with the Nissan and VW vehicles also.
I see.
So you can configure. We've built applications that allow you to configure the exact car you want, and it will give you the exact price of the subscription.
I see. High-end estimate, if you wanted, all the bells and whistles on the most expensive Tesla, do you have that?
About $139,000.
Gotcha.
And probably around $2,200 per month for a subscription.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I guess if you sat down like in the old days when I used to have an 11 by 16 manila notepad, in fact, I did the long division, I could probably figure out, and I'm sure everybody else would, that in that respect, it's probably, with all the things you've mentioned, it's probably, if you have the wherewithal to do it, I would say, why not do it? You've got to have the money to buy a Tesla going in, but this sure seems like a way to streamline your busy life by doing it all in one.
Yeah, so we typically are going to be about a half to 60% of the lease deposit, probably 30 to 40% of equity required on a loan, and we'll be 10% average below your cost of ownership total, and the monthly payments will be equivalent to, again, probably 10% below what it would cost you to do insurance and car payments or lease payments for that.
Gotcha.
Very good. Are you going to set up your own maintenance facilities, or you go to Tesla, use theirs, or what?
We use Tesla's maintenance. All of our cars are under warranty, in some cases extended with Tesla, and we do envision rolling out in major metropolitan areas what we call our electric vehicle centers, and they would be combined charging service centers and showrooms for all electric vehicle makes.
Wow,
that's
okay,
good.
That's ambitious.
That's ambitious.
That's a great service.
Yeah, that'll probably end up becoming a franchise model.
Great, Alan. I don't know Florida. I barely know California automotive rules, but I don't know anything about Florida. Were there some obstacles? Did you have to negotiate with the people who control the automotive world? Did you have to jump over some hurdles and figure that all out? And if you did, what were some of those roadblocks, if there were any?
We really haven't found too many major roadblocks, other than that the states and the taxing and registration groups don't really have laws that apply to subscriptions. They try to put you into a lease or a rental box, and we're completely different. So we're actually helping them streamline a lot of that. We're a fleet, so we work typically directly with the automobile company and their fleet group. And we've had pretty good relationships with everybody we've talked to there.
Back to the insurance thing again. Have you spoken with any insurance commissioners outside of Florida?
So we don't believe that there's any issues to talk to them at this point, because of the fleet ownership. It would look similar to a trucking fleet, and where you have you don't know what driver's going into what vehicles, and it's really more of an issue between our contractual clauses with our insurance carriers and the insurance carriers.
Okay, I got it.
As a car reviewer, people sometimes ask, some of the cars I drive, have manufacturer plates, dealer plates, ordinary, regular, traditional license plates. Minor point, but what kind of plates do your cars have?
They will have a typical commercial, probably a commercial plate, depending on the state.
Yes.
Typical license plate. Now, we might do a bunch of vanity plates that just say T4L.
Great.
Who knows?
And then people behind you will say, "What
the heck is that?"
They spend 100 miles trying to figure out what it means. I think it's a great act. I think it's fantastic. It's a good one. Any kind of three-letter ones are usually the ones that people can remember. When it gets much longer, they have difficulty. Alan, go ahead.
Go ahead. Now, all of our fleet will be branded discreetly. Typically, in the left driver's side rear window, you'll see an etched T4L.
Okay.
So you'll know that. You'll see our vehicle brands everywhere.
I'll conclude our half hour with you or so by asking: is there some area that we've, Bruce and I, and I would say a majority of people are new to this new world of car subscriptions? So, is something that a major area that we're completely forgetting that you can enlighten us with?
Well, let's just say it's easy.
Yes.
It's painless. And we're here to make enjoyable transportation access.
Perfect. Thank you, Alan. We want to thank our guest today, Alan Witters, the CEO of T4L, Transportation for Life, car subscription service based in Naples, Florida. And I don't know about Bruce, but kind of won me over. He won me over today. So not that was your goal, but it sounds like a really good idea for people who want to streamline their busy lives. So, Alan, thanks a bunch for being our guest.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
All right. We'll be in touch. Appreciate it, Alan. Cheers.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye.